Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I was thinking about what I was going to title this video. And I always like to think of myself as a glass half full kind of guy. So I was trying to think of a positive way to view what I was pondering on my walk this morning. And I think I'll call it, at least I'm not a dirty old, at least I didn't get old to become a dirty old man. I'm 59 years old. This video is for other guys. It's not specifically about Bill Belichick, but he came to mind definitely when I was thinking about making this video. Let me give you the background on how I came up with this idea. I was out on my usual walk, my early morning walk at 5 a.m., about a 3-mile walk. And I was pondering my life, how things are going, finances, family, all that stuff. And of course, it comes to mind about relationships. I'm not in a relationship now. I haven't been in one for 4 years since, well, unfortunately, I lost my last girlfriend to COVID on August 5th of 2021. My childhood sweetheart, my soulmate. But that's not what this video is about. And I've been single since then. I'm 59 years old. And I've been thinking, part of me wants a relationship. But when it comes to sexual relations, I just don't know if it's worth it. It's not that I really don't have the drive. It's just I don't know if it's all worth the compromise. Let me get into this more. I've been clean and sober since October 23rd of 2006. Before that, I've had, to be honest with you guys, I've probably had at least 100 intimate relationships over my lifetime of 59 years. But I'm 40 years old. From the time I was 40, so I'm 59 now. I've had 2 relationships where I pretty much lived with the first girl, the first woman, and then the second woman, my childhood sweetheart. And let me talk about the first girlfriend first. This is back when I was I was 48 years old. 47. I was 47 until I was 50 years old. It was a 2-year relationship, and this woman was premenopausal. So I kind of wonder now where she's at. She's married, and I wonder if she still has the drive she did back then, because she wore me down back then. I won't get too intimate. That's not what this video is about. But I never told her. I never told her this. I mentioned Viagra, because her drive was extremely high. I'm talking about 7, 8 times in one weekend, 2, 3, 4 times a day. For a 40-year-old man, that's kind of tough. And she was she had the idea that if I needed Viagra, she wasn't sexy enough. Because I talked about maybe getting that. Once I got clean and sober, I was kind of worried because I had never had intimate relations when I was clean and sober, never in all my life. So I was I had a lot of anxiety about being intimate because I had never been intimate sober. So I went to the doctor. This is the first sample he gave me, the little blue pill. And those things work fan-freaking-tastic, let me tell you. I felt like an adult movie star when I took those things. But I never told her. The 2 years we were in a relationship, whenever I thought it was going to warm up, which was a couple times a day, I'd pop one of these little blue pills in the bathroom and be ready to go. And she thought I was a superstar the whole time. Unless she's watching this video, she still doesn't know. Okay, and honestly, the reason I broke up with her was because I just couldn't afford these anymore. I was spending hundreds of dollars on Viagra, literally every month, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I figured, well, this was a fun 2 years. I've done everything under the sun with this woman, and I'm gonna call it a day. And then I started dating my childhood sweetheart, this girl that I was, we were boyfriend and girlfriend in 2nd grade or 3rd grade. And it was a great relationship. But to be honest, once I got about 52, 53 years old, sex became kind of a chore. We both like put on a face like we want to do it. Let's get busy and all this stuff. But I really had the feeling that both of our sex drives were diminishing. So this morning when I'm walking, I think back to when I was a teen, like when in my teens, let's just say. And my drive was, if you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. My drive was through the freaking roof I mean, that's all I thought about, 24/7. I just remember thinking, like I would always look at older women, like in their late, like 20 years old. That they were older women to me, and I was like, oh God, if this woman would just bless me. If she would just be with me for a half hour, it would be like winning the lottery. If this woman only, if this person only knew, how much she would make my world complete. If she would just, why couldn't she just be nice to me? I remember thinking that as a teen. And as I get older, like I'm in good shape. I have a physical every year. Everything works. But I gotta be honest. My sex drive my drive is still there, but part of me just doesn't want to be bothered. Part of me wonders if all the fuss and muss is worth it. So I start thinking about, should I have a girlfriend now? Should I pursue a relationship at 59 years old? And part of me is like, why would I bother? I mean, the intimate part of it really isn't all that important to me. If I got into a relationship now, it might almost become a chore. Like, oh geez, I'm gonna have to do this Friday night, this Saturday night. And I'll be honest, I think part of this too, I'm totally honest when I say this. The commercials for what's those body deodorant commercials? Lumi. Oh God, I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, I really think those commercials have put a serious dent in a lot of, not just men or even women's sex drives. Because now they have guys on there talking about how their bodies stink and how they use this, and the Lumi developer talking about all sorts of body scent smells. And I really feel like those commercials have put a serious dent in my sex drive. But like I said, I'm fit and everything, and I'm healthy. But it's just, I don't know if I want to be bothered. All right, so let's go on to Bill Belichick. So Bill Belichick came into my mind. I'm not a big sports guy. I'm not into sports. I really could care less, to be honest. The only sports I like are ones where I challenge myself, like surfing, biking, just, where I could beat my own records. I'm not a team player. Let's just say that. So Bill Belichick is 72 years old, and he's dating a 24-year-old, Jordan Hudson, okay? Like I said, at my age, I can't imagine dating somebody that much. Well, she's 48 years younger than him. I mean, he's old enough to be her great-grandfather, if not her grandfather. What did they talk about? What did they even talk, or did they talk at all? I got to say this. I mean, Bill Belichick must be a big fan of these little blue pills. I don't know how else he would do it. But why would any older guy in their right mind really? Is it just for to sport like a trophy? Is that because that's the only thing I could figure? What would they talk about? What do they have in common? I can't imagine having a girlfriend. It's even 28 years old right now. No matter how beautiful the woman was or what was promised from her, even if she was a billionaire, I just can't imagine being able to share, to have a real relationship with somebody that much younger than me. So I have to ask myself, why does he do this? So this morning, like I said, I was trying to look on the optimistic side, because I think a lot of guys just don't want to admit that their sex drive isn't what it used to be. At 59 years old, it's just, here's the thing. I love being noticed by women. I love that women, like yesterday, I was riding my bike and it was lunchtime and there was 3 women. There's a lot of medical buildings around here and they looked like they were nurses in scrubs. And I saw one of them look back at me and she said something quick to the other 2 and all 3 of them turned around smiling, like, checking me out. And I was kind of embarrassed to put my head down. They could have been laughing at me. I don't know, but I get the feeling that they were checking me out, and I love that. That part I love. I love being wanted. I love being attractive. I love being dateable. But actually dating somebody at my age, I just don't, to be honest, I don't want to be bothered. I don't know if it's worth the hassle. You know, it would be nice to have somebody to share my life with. It'd be nice to have somebody to go to movies with. You know, it'd be nice to have somebody to talk to talk about my problems, share my joy, go to the beach with. That's something I miss going to the beach. You know, with my girlfriend. That's something we used to do a lot. You know, but is it worth it? You know, because like I said, that last relationship I had, I think in both of the back of our minds, it became a chore. You know, we both acted like, yeah, we're going to get busy this Friday night, you know, this Saturday night. And, you know, I think both of us just wanted to get it over with, really, and just watch TV. You know, I think that's just part of getting old. I think a lot of people don't want to admit this. I think a lot of guys don't want to admit this, that they're just not that interested in sex as they used to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an anomaly. But, like I said, the title of this video, I want to look at the optimistic side of this. And at least I'm not a dirty old man. I could say that. You know, at least I didn't get old and become a dirty old man. I can honestly say that. Let me know what you think if you're a dude. You know, what's your thoughts on this? If you're married, you know, how's things working? If you want to share it with me, please let me know. Have a good Saturday.